Hey, welcome to a brand new edition of The Rundown with Ramon. My name is Ramon Ray, your host, five-time entrepreneur, written 5 books, dad of 2, husband of 1 and more, started 5 companies, sold 3 companies, and I'm here to help you live your best life. So welcome to The Rundown with Ramon. As we get started, I hope your day is going fantastically well, and if I dare say, going fantastically blessed. My day has been great, and listen, you can see here on your screen right now what we want to talk about today, and that is the aspect of burnout. We're going to get these tips and insights from an article written by Chloe Maxwell of Connective 3. I want to give Chloe credit. But before I do that, I want to ask you, do you feel burnt out at times? Do you feel overwhelmed at times? Do you feel, And sometimes we feel that way, but I hope today gives you a few practical tips and insights that you can do to not feel that burnout, not feel overwhelmed, not feel that sense of, wow, it's rough. Now, there's going to be seasons where we will feel burned out. There's going to be seasons or times where we might feel overwhelmed, but hopefully today in this special edition focusing on burnout, I should say, burnout, we can hopefully lower the temperature, lower the dial tone and how we feel about being burnt out or burned out. I wonder which way it is. By the way, DM me on Instagram, Ramon Ray Smart Hustle. Is it you feel burnt out or you feel burned out? I'm not sure which one it is, but let's begin today's episode. And if there's time, I want to play a video clip for you. So again, full credit to Chloe Maxwell for kicking us off with the series talking about being burnt out. Here's 15 tips to prevent burnt out and things we can consider on our journey. And one, I think we can all do a better job of setting realistic goals. The times you feel burned out, the times you feel overwhelmed, the times you feel that sense of it's too much are the times where maybe the goals you set for yourself are unrealistic, are in fact too much. Maybe those times that you feel burned out are those times where you want to do 50 different things and realize that maybe all you could do that day is 10, and that tension grips you, that tension hits you. Sometimes that happens. So what does that mean? Don't try to conquer Everest in a day, as the saying goes. And you can break down those large projects into manageable, itty bitty, bit by bit steps to set achievable deadlines and to celebrate your progress along the way. I want you to remember, marathons are won by pacing yourself. If you're sprinting your whole life, guess what? You're going to be burnt out. So you have to understand this and take things a dip, drip, step at a time. Once again, if you've just joined us, my name is Ramon Ray, and this is The Rundown with Ramon. So glad you're here today. All we ask is 30 minutes of your time to give you the top 10 things you need to know to start or grow your business. And sometimes we do special episodes to dive into topics that we feel are best for you. So again, thanks for listening to The Rundown with Ramon. DM me on Instagram, hit me up directly. I'd love to know what you think about this topic of being burned out. So, number 2, embrace a growth mindset. Now, what does that mean? That means instead of you fearing failure, you can look at that along with me. Instead of every time you're wondering, should I do it? Should I not? And you're scared, looking like a little squirrel going back and forth, you embrace it and say, let me learn from this. Let me learn from what's happened. And I want you to ask yourself, do you believe in your ability to learn and grow from the experiences that you've had? Are you able to focus on the progress that you're going to make over time? Understand, you're not going to master your world. You're not going to be the best at what you want to do overnight. You're going to fail. Failure is a part of the journey of success. But I ask you, I promise you, as you're consistently making effort and have this, what we call growth mindset, as the smart people call it, you're going to get there. Let's move forward to our next tip here. Practice self-compassion. If you're always a Debbie Downer to yourself, and you're not giving yourself grace, how can you move forward, I would dare say you can't. So I beg you, change the narrative. As John Acuff says in his book, Soundtracks, treat yourself with kindness. Be self compassionate to yourself and give yourself grace, and not just grace and kindness, but also understanding. And I dare you to accept that everyone is going to make mistakes and forgive yourself. You see, this is the thing. It's not just forgiving other people. Did you know oftentimes we have to forgive ourselves because you're not perfect? You're not perfect. You can see that right there on the screen. And that's why self-compassion is so important, to be compassionate towards and for yourself, to build the resilience you need and help you overcome, not be an undercomer or not a victor, but to be able indeed to be an overcomer. You may think, Ramon, what in the world does sleep have to do with burnout? Well, a lot, because our bodies are not machines. Our bodies are not some battery pack wired or solar powered device that can go on forever, 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 and forever. No, our bodies need sleep and rest. It's not a luxury. It is an absolute necessity. Some studies, some scientists, some others say aim for 7 hours of quality sleep a day. I personally get 4 or 5, and I'm pretty good at it for now. But the longer you sleep, based on your body type, the better you will be. And prioritize restful routines to get you into the mood of resting and sleeping. This is important. Do you have a schedule with which you sleep? Do you schedule sleep? You schedule everything else. You schedule play dates. You schedule doggy daycare. You schedule outing with your boo, with your spouse. Do you schedule sleep? A well-rested mind is a more productive and creative mind. Once again, everybody, thanks for joining me. My name is Ramon Ray. This is The Rundown with Ramon. I've started 5 companies, sold 3 companies, authored 5 books, and I'm here to help you live your best life, to start or grow your business, or just be a better mom, be a better dad, be a better student. That's how we roll. That's what we do on The Rundown with Ramon. Let's keep moving to our next point. Maintain a healthy diet. Part of your healthy body is sleep, but part of your non-burnout routine is also maintaining a healthy diet. You are what you eat. If you fuel your body, and food is fuel, with nutritious food like fruits and vegetables and whole grains and lean protein, and avoid sugary drinks will jack you up, and processed foods, they're going to sap and zap your energy. So the healthier you eat, what you put into your body is how your body can expect to grow. I encourage you, I beg you, I ask you, nourish your body with intention, and it's going to reward you. Nourish your body with intention. You take care of your body will what? Let me hear you say it. Your body will take care of you for sure. How are you enjoying these tips? I hope these insights and advice are helping you, understanding that burnout can be changed. We don't have to live a life where we're feeling all the time. We can live a life and thrive in what we're doing. Once again, thanks for listening to The Rundown with Ramon. My name is Ramon Ray. If you've just joined, if you just tuned in, here to help you live your best life or start or grow your business. Let's see what's next. Again, engage in regular exercise. This doesn't mean once a year when you go to Grandma Marty's house, Grandma Maurice's house, that you do a little this, little that. No, regular exercise is important. Moving your body, even if it's just a quick brisk walk outside, which I used to do on a regular basis. I've slacked off on that. Regular movement is important. The body's natural mood boosters are engaged or done as you exercise. And even good exercise helps you manage stress. So I encourage you, find an activity that you enjoy. Find an activity that you like. Maybe it's dancing, maybe it's swimming, maybe it's a sport, maybe it's something that you can move, and make that a regular part of your routine. The other thing that's helpful for not being burnout is the aspect of expressing mindfulness. This sounds maybe like a woo-woo thing, like really, Ramon? But I'm telling you, the power of mindfulness is a powerful asset to your business. And I encourage you, take some time every day to be present, to be mindful, to think, to be grateful, to think about what you're doing. And listen, breathing, how we breathe and hold in can be helpful for us as well. Our focus can be improved. So the power of mindfulness can be a game changer in your business. What about scheduling breaks and vacations? Do you take the time to rest and to get away? Do you do that? Are you always on the go, rushing? It's a question. It's a question. And I'm asking you, how do you show up? How do you do that? But taking a break, forcing your body to rest can help solve some of the burnout you may be feeling. What about boundaries? Do you allow friends and family, your mama, your daddy, your cousin, your boss, your employee, your employer, everybody all around you to pull at you all day long? You can't. You have to set clear boundaries so that you can protect yourself from burnout, protect yourself from somebody sapping your energy. It's important. By the way, you should set boundaries and make people respect your boundaries. And you have a right as well. You have a right as well to set your own boundaries as you respect other people's boundaries. Delegating tasks is important. Do you take the time to not feel that you have to be the superhero and solve everybody's life problems? Guess what? You don't have to do that. Hence, it's okay to say not right now. It's okay to delegate. It's okay to say, you know what? We'll take care of this at another time, possibly, which leads us to the tip of learn to say no. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to say talk to the hand. Don't have to say no. You can say, hey, listen, thank you for asking. That's not a fit for me, so I'm not able to help you and do it. But maybe somebody else can do this, or that no could mean you'll do it later on. It is okay to say no. You don't have to please everyone. In fact, by saying yes to everything, sometimes you may end up pleasing no one. Creating a positive work environment. The world is full of negativity and angst. But are you able to go around life and say, this is going to be a positive work environment? Are you able to telegraph that to your employees, to your team members, to those who report to you and those who you report to? Are you birthing positive interactions and boosting morale, motivating people around you? Are you doing it? And this is going to be hard for some of you, but if you're hearing the sound of my voice, I'd love you to DM me on Instagram, Ramon Ray Smart Hustle. Let me know what you're doing. Are you disconnecting regularly and saying, you know what? I'm taking a pause. I'm taking a pause. Are you doing that regularly? Once again, if you just joined, my name is Ramon Ray. This is the Rundown with Ramon. I'm an entrepreneur, started 5 companies, sold 3 companies, authored 5 books, and more. Let me know how you're enjoying the Rundown with Ramon. Hit me up on Instagram. Let me know how it's going for you. I'd love to know what you're getting out of the Rundown with Ramon. Moving forward here, resist the urge to check your emails. Resist the urge to have to do all the things. It's okay to check out and disconnect at some period of time. What about hobbies? I'm curious. What are your favorite hobbies to do? What are your hobbies to do? And engage in those hobbies, engage in interests. It's okay to do other things other than work. In fact, I would dare say it's healthy for you. If you're feeling burned out, are you asking for help? Are you seeking support? This is important. I want to play something for you, interview that I saw recently, and I want to know if this helps you. Let's follow along and listen, and I may comment as they're doing it. But this aspect of burnout is so important. Let's check this out.
That I didn't recognize. If you're somebody that works pretty hard, then you're probably not a stranger to burnout or anxiety or insomnia. But in this video, I want to share some of the warning signs that I didn't recognize way back when that were really hinting that I was on the road to burnout and what you can actually do about preventing those things.
So probably going to recap some of the things we just said, but I thought this insight was really important. It's about 8 minutes long, and I think it'll be helpful for us. We'll see where it goes. I may jump in between, but we'll see where it goes.
From happening.
10 signs you're burning out. Okay, let's check this out. Go through it together and learn.
What's up, guys? Alex Hine, author of the book Master the Day. Now, I've included a free download there for you below, which is all about how to use journaling to reinvent your life. So you can check it out, the first link in the description, and you'll also get an email every few days on how to use journaling to live a better life. So the first thing is that you notice your personality changing. People don't realize that every little illness or pathology is always predated by some little thing, a little seed that's sown. And for me, what I noticed reflecting back on that was that before burning out, for a couple of years, I had this low level agitation, right? I would easily get pissed. I would easily get annoyed. And even if I didn't show it to people I was working with, I felt irritated.
Have you gone through that? Have you felt irritated? You're wondering why? Maybe now you know part of the irritation is you're burnt out.
Way more than normal. And so there's a saying in Chinese medicine that the first sign of the quote separation of yin and yang, of illness beginning, is either mood changes, like emotions, or sleep problems. So for me, I noticed that mood changes were the first thing years
Mood
before.
changes. Mood
The second thing
changes.
is sleep problems. So if you've always been a good sleeper, like I was historically, and then
Didn't
you
we just
notice
talk about
every
that?
once
We
in a
just
while,
talked about the
you either can't
importance
fall
of
asleep for a
getting
couple
good
hours,
sleep.
or
If
you
you're
get a
not
weird night of
sleeping
sleep,
well, you
or
could be
maybe
burnt out.
sometimes
Let's
you
keep
have
listening.
a little bit of anxiety around sleep. And then maybe what happens is you actually have one bad night of sleep, but rather than really sleeping well the next night, you sleep bad again. And then you start getting really anxious over and over again. Sleep is the next indicator that something internally regarding your stress, your nervous system,
I told you,
just
you
the state of
gotta
your
get
spirit
better sleep.
is getting run
I
down.
told you.
The third thing is that you notice yourself smiling less. Or if you're like me, you don't notice it, but other people do. I had a friend that was always like a very fun, smiley, friendly guy. And then a funny thing happened when he went to law school. After going to law school and studying for all those years and taking his boards, the next time I saw him,
Did you hear that?
the
We
dude
know where
was
the
like
story's
most
going, but did you hear
serious,
that
lifeless shell
smiling
I've ever
less?
seen.
You
know,
were
on some
happy
level,
at
the same
one
thing
point.
happened to me.
Now you're not.
Because
Other
I was a
people
pretty
probably
even
notice
keel, not
it.
Mr. Smiley,
Other
more of a
people
serious
notice
kid.
it. The
But
smile's
the
a
more
big
I
indicator of
worked
being
and the
burnt
more I
out.
was getting stressed and
Let's
not having enough rest, not having enough fun, the more I noticed that I wasn't smiling as much. The fourth thing is that you have a hard time feeling excited about things. Whereas maybe previously you're moderately excited about stuff and life's like, some good stuff, some bad stuff, some stuff in between. But this time you notice like, I saw this one
Are you feeling
patient
that, by
who
the
was a
way? Do you
student that was
feel that
just
as you go through
graduating.
life, people are
And
telling
the
you things,
doctor that
people are
was seeing
excited
him
about
was like,
things around you?
"Oh,
You're
are you
like,
excited? Next phase of life, you get to practice, you get to see patients.
This is
get
a real
paid."
thing.
And he
Listen,
just kind of looked
this is
off
real.
into space and was just like, "Yeah, I guess." And obviously he's afraid about the transition coming. But practically speaking, you may notice yourself just less jazzed about life. Like the day-to-day is just kind of blah, same shit, different day. Unless you have a fun vacation planned, you're not really excited about that much. The fifth thing is that you're struggling with motivation. I mean, the first most obvious thing.
And again, I'm
regarding
talking over this
burnout
because,
is that
again, it's
you
important.
feel
Struggling with
less
motivation is a
interested
real,
in
real
doing the
thing.
things you were
Are
previously
you
doing,
waking up and about
right?
the
So
day
burnout
not
can be purely mental,
excited?
like these
Feeling
tasks are
that
so
these are
boring, or it
signs
could
of
be even
burnout, and I
deeper
want you to
physiological.
overcome.
Like if you
I
have
want
a
you to
really
be a victor.
serious
Let's keep
trauma
listening.
happen where you're not sleeping well, you lose your job, a parent dies, or you go through a divorce. Like that can be so disabling, you can develop extreme anxiety or depression. And if you're not that motivated, that's obviously tied into all the other things, the spirit. That works pretty hard, then you're probably not a stranger to burnout or too much in the sympathetic fight support network. Shit, different day. Unless you have a fun vacation planned, you're not really excited about that much. The fifth thing is that you're struggling with motivation. I mean, the first most. But practically speaking, you may notice yourself just less jazzed about life. Like the day-to-day is just kind of blah, same shit, different day. Unless you have a fun vacation planned, you're not really excited about that much. The fifth thing is that you're struggling with motivation. I mean, the first most obvious thing regarding burnout is that you feel less interested in doing the
Do
things that
you
you're
find
previously doing,
yourself struggling
right?
with
So the burnout can be
being
purely
not
mental, like
motivated?
these
This is
tasks are
a
so
real
boring,
thing,
or it could be
people.
even
This is
deeper
not a fake
physiological.
thing. This is
Like
a
if you have a
real
really
thing
serious
that
trauma
happens.
happen where you're not sleeping well, you lose your job, a parent dies, or you go through a divorce, like that can be so disabling. You can develop extreme anxiety or depression. And if you're not that motivated, that's obviously tied into all the other things, the spirit, if you're excited or not excited about life, how much you've been working, if you have a good social support network, if you're sleeping well, and so on. But you know you're burning out when you just feel you're just less motivated about everything.
Less
and not just
motivated about everything.
Burnout sign number
Less
6 is you
motivated.
start developing digestive problems. Really, really common
I told you,
pathology
health
in
was
people who
important.
are overworking.
What are you eating?
Is the baby
Are you drinking enough
increase
water?
acid
Are you
reflux.
sleeping? Your
So maybe you
digestive
notice
issues are
yourself
affected
burping
by
more,
burnout. Listen
getting
in.
constipated more, having looser bowel movements more, getting actual reflux or feeling indigestion frequently. All of these are signs that you've been too much in the sympathetic fight or flight mode and you haven't been resting enough. And obviously digestion is one of the first things that begins to get impaired when you're overworking and you're under resting. The 7th sign is that you can't sit still or relax.
Now, curious, before we go on, who would have thought that your digestion would have an impact in being burnt out? Next point here, he's talking about you can't sit still or relax. Wow, this is good. Keep listening.
You feel like there's something actually wrong with stopping, or wrong with a vacation, or wrong if you don't work 7 days a week, or wrong. I recently talked to an entrepreneur friend and they said, why would you ever want to stop your work at 5? Like, what would I do with the rest of my life? And obviously that's common among entrepreneurs. I lived that way for many years. But the fact that that's considered normal is maybe a little bit interesting.
Do you
right?
sometimes find,
So if you think
is that
something wrong
normal,
with
feeling
being
the part
off,
that you have to go
with
on and on and
recharging,
on
with
and on and on,
sleeping
people
enough, with
thinking,
taking a
why aren't you
vacation,
taking a break?
that by itself
It's a real
shows
thing.
how warped your mind
Real
has
thing.
become. Sign 8. You may not notice yourself being different, but other people notice that you're not acting like yourself. You might be less smiley, might be more serious, you may be more high strung, you may not be sleeping well, you may have depression
And
or
understand,
anxiety,
other
or
people
maybe
notice
the
these
seeds
things
are
more
being
than you
sown
may.
to grow that
Other
tree.
people
Other people are
notice.
honestly much, much, much better predictors and judges of how we're doing because they can see little slight shifts that maybe sometimes we miss. Sign 9 is every once in a while you feel anxious, depressed, or apathetic. Maybe you are getting
And this is a real
sleep
thing. We
problems
all
like
go
what
through
happened to
these
me,
things. So
and
I'm not
start
saying if you have
developing
one of these
anxiety or
signs that you're going to
chronic
feel this way.
insomnia.
I don't think it means
Maybe
that,
you feel
but I
feelings
think
of
it's important for us to
depression
think
and no
about.
motivation,
It's
and
important
you
for
don't feel
us to
anything.
think
Or
about.
maybe you're just
Are you
completely
feeling
not jazzed at
filled with
all
anxiety,
about the
depressed?
future, and honestly, you don't really care what's going forward because none of it's exciting. Like none of it matters to you. And sign number 10 is that you feel like you're on this treadmill, and if you stop running or stop the treadmill, it's all going to fall apart.
Listen, I'll leave it at that. I think this has been a very, very good interview. Definitely go back and check out the materials that I've given here in this interview. I think it's important. I'm going to go here. I want to give attribution to the author again. The journaling exercise that will change your life. Definitely check it out. But here's the bottom line, everybody. We've had a special episode here about burnout. Burnout is a real thing. It can cripple you and limit your life if you're not careful. I don't want you to live a life that's full of burnout. I don't want you to live a life where you're regretting. I want you to live a life of abundance. This is the life I want you to live. One for sure of abundance. Let's together work ourselves to be better people. We don't have to be on the rat race on this treadmill of life that forces us to keep going and going and going and going and going without taking a break. And breaks are important. Taking time is important. Taking time as it were to smell the roses is important. We don't have to be on this fast treadmill of life that never, ever stops. Because if you're living life that way, you will be burned out. And if you are burned out, you're not living your life optimally the way you should or the way you could. This is important, and I want the best for you. Do you want the best for yourself, or are you going to choose to live a life that treats you less than? Will you choose to live a life that is less than you could be doing? This is the key. Listen, my name is Ramon Ray. This is The Rundown with Ramon. Thank you so much